This is a probable cause affidavit, and they don't have to lay out their whole case here. They just have to make up probable cause.
They went through a very lengthy analysis of the cell phone. What people have to understand is the cell phone is not like GPS.
That the scientist and the science behind this, when they do match his DNA with the DNA that was found at the crime scene, I think that will be an extremely important step that he will present that there was a crime.
This is Reporter Room with Jessica Della Davies.
Hello, Reporter Room investigators. Come on in, come on in. We have so much to talk about. Today, we're going to be talking about the Bryan Kohberger case. And oh my gosh, there's so much breaking news in this case. Today, we're going to be talking about Dylan Mortensen, Bethany Funk, and defense witness Cy Ray. We're going to be talking about new photographs of BK's family and Buddy the dog in just a moment, so please stay with me. My name is Jessica Della Davies. I'm an investigative journalist, and my job is to investigate crimes, crime scenes, and potential suspects, and share with you how to do the same thing. If you have not subscribed to Reporter Room, it's free, so please do like, share, leave a comment. Let's talk about Buddy the dog. So I reported on Buddy the dog originally. Somebody, I guess, saw another video on Buddy the dog that was done about a year ago and said, oh, you took the story from somebody. And I'm like, no, I reported on Buddy the dog 2 years ago. You can go through my playlist on YouTube and look and see. And I've been trying to put in a FOIA request for this case. And as I shared with you, I've not been able to access it. Now, I'm wondering if one of those animal hairs that was found by the authorities when they served the search warrant on BK's Pullman apartment and links back to Buddy the dog. Is the prosecutor going to show a pattern of escalation in this case? So you guys had some questions. You wanted to know more about this, and I shared with you that I'm going to watch my words here. So trigger warning, guys. But in any way, doing anything that would be hurtful to an animal is one of the first serious disturbances among people who do either mass doing away with people, which is what this category falls into because it's multiple people, but it's not considered a serial crime because there wasn't like a cooling off period in between. It was all done, one right after another at a very short record of time. So this would be considered a mass K. So the one is, so I did some research on this for you guys because and according to Psychology Today, that's my sourcing on this, David Berkowitz, who is also known as Son of Sam, and he believed that he was getting command hallucinations. He believed that God was telling him to do away with people. And he struck down 8 different people in New York City in the summer of 1976. And he also struck down his neighbor's dog, who was named Harvey. And I'm going to show you new photographs of Bryan Kohberger's family in just a moment, so please stay with me. Jeffrey Dahmer, as a kid, his hobby was to do away with neighbors' pets. Again, trigger warning. He even put one of them on a stick and displayed it. Ted Bundy also enjoyed, I'm trying to watch my words here, doing things to cats and dogs, and he went on to terminate at least 30 people, although it's speculated that he had more victims than just the 30. And my source on this is Psychology Today. This is when BK was being told by his professor in an email that he was failing to meet their expectations. And in my opinion, this would have enraged him. And Buddy the dog was really close to where the Idaho house is. Let me move myself over. So you can see that it's not, and it's closer toward Pullman. So I think that this is, relevant in my opinion. And I do think that, I've had people say, oh, but he was a vegan. Yeah, he was. But, he's also being accused of doing away with people. And we know this is something that a lot of criminals like this do. It's kind of an escalation. Peeping is another thing that we used to think was harmless, a peeping Tom, and we've learned now that these guys escalate, and that it can be very, very scary. So this little dog was let out into his own fenced backyard by his owners. They had had him for 12 years. He's a miniature Australian Shepherd, and on the night of October 21st, somebody came into the yard and took the dog. And apparently there was a couple of other animals that were harmed. And law enforcement said this was not an animal. This was a human, which is why I was trying to put in a FOIA request on this to find out more about this. And if you've been with my channel for the whole time, I reported on this a couple of years, 2 years ago. But this is Pam and Jim. I don't know if they pronounce their name Colbert or Corbert, but they had this dog was filleted and skinned. And this is really relevant. A lot of, we heard that he was a fish cutter and that BK had on his resume that he, filleted fish. What he also had on his resume, my sourcing on this is the Daily Mail. It's a UK paper, is he also was a butcher. He has on his resume that he worked for 4 months in a butcher shop, and they had adopted Buddy 5 years before he, and also Jim. So Jim and Pam are the two owners of Buddy the dog, or were the owners. They also found a rabbit that had also been, I don't want to say this word, so also been harmed, and that it had been sliced right open. And it just makes me think about that K-bar knife and the fact that there was a sharpener, and who would come into the yard, like how many people were out there doing crimes like this. And then why can't we get a simple FOIA request on this dog? What do you guys think? And I'm going to show you new photographs of Bryan Kohberger's family in just a moment, so please stay with me. This is what I think Bethany is going to be testifying to. She is going to be testifying, saw a man, and my sourcing on this is the Mirror. And at the time it was reported out that this could exonerate Bryan Kohberger. Now, I don't think that's the case, but this is what the defense felt at the time, because she saw a man taking things off and putting them in a bag. So investigator Richard Bethany, who was working for the defense attorney Ann Taylor, subpoenaed Bethany to appear at BK's hearing back on June 28th. Now, this, according to the affidavit, she allegedly saw somebody that didn't have anything on, watching my words here, run through a rear sliding door. So I believe that was the back patio doors. She lived on the first floor of the house, and according to the Mirror, she came face to face. I don't think she came face to face. Well, I guess we'll find out when she testifies. I think it's more likely that she saw him from the back. But, Ann Taylor and her investigator definitely thought this was important. So Ann Taylor they were saying, and Mr. Bethany, who was working for Ann Taylor, alleged that Bethany heard or saw things that could clear BK. This was back at the time. BK's attorneys claim that Bethany had exculpatory evidence that is material and necessary to BK's defense. Now, Bethany was like, I'm not sitting down with you. I don't know why she didn't want to sit down with the defense team. It may be that she realized that there wasn't going to be a preliminary hearing, because she may have already testified at the grand jury hearing. Or it could just be she didn't want to help out the defense. It could just be she couldn't afford to travel back to Idaho because she was living in a different state at the time. But this is what the defense was saying, if she refuses to appear, she could face a potential fine of $500 or 25 days in jail. And Mr. Bethany wrote in his affidavit, during the course of my investigation, it became known to me that she, that's Bethany, has information material to the charges against BK. Now, according to the police, it was Bethany who found her housemates. We know now that Hunter Johnson and Emily Arndt were both at the scene, and that they had come by to find out where Ethan was because they had been trying him on a cell phone. He wasn't picking up. They knocked on the front door. Bethany slept on the first floor. She answered, and when they went upstairs, they found the crime scene. Now, I don't know if the door to Xana's room was open. I don't know if it was closed, but Bethany said she didn't want to appear because she now lives in Nevada, not Idaho. And her attorney wrote, there's no authority for an Idaho criminal defendant to summon a Nevada witness to an Idaho matter without a hearing, and there's no authority to summon a Nevada witness to an Idaho matter without a Nevada judge making a finding of materiality, necessity, and lack of undue hardship. They rejected Ann Taylor's subpoena as a foreign subpoena. Now, ultimately, Bethany did sit down with the defense team and told them what she saw. And then Ann Taylor filed a motion in an effort to exclude Bethany's testimony. She didn't want the jury to hear what Bethany had to say. So obviously, it wasn't the exculpatory evidence that the defense team was hoping for. So I just wanted to put that out there so that when we're looking at this, let me grab this, I just want to set the table so everything makes sense. Is because of the Dickies receipt. I just wanted to show you this. This is, some of you guys have asked me, well, what's a monkey suit, Jessica? What's a monkey suit? This is, let me move myself. This is a monkey suit. And you can see right here above my head, you can see the Dickies icon. Let me move myself over here. And you can see the Dickies icon is right in this corner right here. So this is Dickies, and this is what a monkey suit looks like. You could get long sleeves and, long pants. It's also called the mechanic suit. It's called coveralls, but this is the Dickies receipt. And now let's look at the most recent photos of Bryan Kohberger's family. We haven't seen them for a while. We do expect them to be at the trial to support Bryan Kohberger. Cannot get to 50,000 subscribers without your help. So please consider subscribing and drop me a comment. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.